Let's take a look at a typical access control system and how we can leverage the vulnerabilities of Wiegand to hack into or penetrate a system. In a typical access control system, there are credentials, whether it's a card or a fob, and it could be many different card technologies. You need an access control reader, and you need a controller that the reader plugs into. The controller is going to make the decisions and tell the door when to open. In this setup, I've installed the ESPKey. This is the Wiegand Sniffer. I'm going to cover up the LED so we can see a little bit better. And you can see that I've just punched down the power and ground and data wires into that. And that's just going to sniff the communication or the data going from the reader to the controller, and then we can use that data going forward. We also need some access control software that will show us different events and what's happening on the system. And then we have the software for the ESPKey itself. This is where we can see the data come through and we can do the replay attacks. Let's take a look at the ESPKey in action. To show how it sniffs data, I'm going to simply present a card to the reader, and you can see over on the controller the LED and the relay illuminate. That means the door opened. I'll do that one more time so you can see. And you can hear the relay go off. And that data is going from the reader over that wire through the ESPKey and into the controller. So we can see that everything continues to function, but that ESPKey is sniffing the data. If we go over and we look at the access control system, we can see that Jeremy Fromm used that badge. He has a badge ID of 33, and he was able to gain access through that door. And I did it twice, which is why we see two events. If I come over to the ESPKey, and if I refresh the screen, we'll see a few events down here at the bottom. So we can see 10:38 in 13 seconds and 10:38 21 seconds. I presented the badge. I had a facility code of 1 and a badge ID of 33. So this just shows that the ESPKey is able to see that data and report it into a screen. So now for the vulnerability of this. Through this tool, I'm able to select some of this data. And when I do that, I can issue a replay attack. So I'm just going to resend that same facility code of 1, badge ID of 33, and this is going to originate from the ESPKey when I push that, and it's going to go to the controller. So we're really just bypassing the card and the reader and just resending that data. So I'm going to hit replay, and you're going to hear the relay click, and I'll move the phone over so you can see that LED illuminate. So replay. And that LED is illuminated, and you heard the relay. So from there, I can go back over to the access control software, and we see now we have a third event. It's again Jeremy Fromm with badge ID 33, and to the access control system, it looks like I swiped my badge. It's really important to understand that the card technology and how secure it is has no impact with Wiegand communication. In this case, I have an HID CIOS card, and this CIOS card is full of encryption and it's very secure. If I were to take this credential and present it at the reader, we'll see that I'm able to get through the door. We'll see that I got an access granted, and I named this card really secure CIOS card. It could be a biometric, facial recognition, fingerprint, anything that's really secure. But if using Wiegand, we can see that data. So if I come back to the screen and I refresh the ESPKey screen, I can see that badge ID is 104, has a facility code of 123. And even though that card technology is incredibly secure, I can still do a replay attack and open the door from the ESPKey. And we can see the LED and hear the relay. So the vulnerability is really on the Wiegand side, not on the card side. And to be secure, it's important to have both a secure credential and a secure backend communication protocol, such as OSDP Secure Channel. One thing that I often hear is people will say that they are using two-factor authentication. They're using a credential and a PIN, and they believe that that makes them more secure. And in many cases, that's true. You have users that need to have something and they need to know something. However, the vulnerability with Wiegand exposes that data the same exact way, and it can be replayed. So to prove this point, I've given Jeremy Fromm a PIN code of 6666, and we're going to set the reader to card and PIN. So I need to present my card and enter a PIN in order for this to work. So if I go back over to the ESPKey software, we can see that I can do a replay attack. I can send my badge ID, 33. I can close that out. And then I can send my PIN data. And I can replay this 4 times. And you just heard the relay click, and I was able to send card data and PIN data, and we see that Jeremy Fromm with badge ID 33 in card and PIN mode was able to get through the door. One final neat thing that the ESPKey provides is the ability for a hacker to basically shut down a system. We can do a denial of service attack. So what this means is I can initiate a command, and that ESPKey will capture all data, and it will stop the data from going to the controller. So if I were a bad person, I could use this tool. I could get it through the door using card or maybe card and PIN, and then I can block all other traffic. So if security is trying to get in behind me, their data when they swipe their badge never makes it to the controller. So this is pretty simple. We can just run a simple command, denial of service, and I can send the data. And if I go back, we should see that happen. So now I see denial of service set by the API. And if I were to take a credential now and present a credential, I'll do it again, it never makes it to the controller. This ESPKey is blocking all data, and the controller never gets it and can never know to open the door. And now this will continue to do this until I issue a restart or I turn off that denial of service mode. You can also see the access control system gets none of that data because it never makes it to the controller. So some pretty powerful tools that a hacker can use to penetrate a system and really cause some havoc at a site. And this is all exposed because of the vulnerability with Wiegand. And using an OSDP secure channel eliminates that threat.